let's talk about the current state of affairs in the NFL, specifically with the New York Jets. This guy covers the Jets for the New York Daily News. He's been out at training camp all week long. Antwan Staley joins us now. Mr. Staley, appreciate your time, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Good to be with you, Jake. And I'm one of those people that do not think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer either. So
Wow.
that's just my opinion. Yeah, I just
Wow.
think he's above average quarterback, but I think Ben is a Hall of Famer. But yeah, Eli, not so much to me. But
Well, you don't have a vote, right, Antoine?
not yet, no.
All right, so Giant fans can't even be mad at you then. All right.
No, I'm sure somebody will get a little angry on Twitter or something. So.
Well, let me start with just the practice specifically today, because I know the Jets had the first two practices with pads on Monday, Tuesday. They had an off day Wednesday, back at it today. It's been a bit of a unique training camp compared to last year with some extra off days. What have been your thoughts on how the Jets are approaching this summer in terms of the amount of practices versus off days so far?
Well, Glenn was asked about that, and he basically just talked about the rest element too as well. Like he wanted to get the guys more rest. They're actually they'll practice on Friday, Saturday. They'll be off Sunday and Monday, and then they'll have the joint practices against Tampa on Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, it's definitely unique. It's one of the least amount of training camp practices I've ever covered, to be honest with you, because I'm used to coaches, going 4 days on, being off, back to another 4 days on. But Glenn's taking a different approach this year, and he's hoping it kind of pays off in the end when the team has more stamina and strength later on in the season.
They already have some injuries, including to first-round pick, tight end Kenyon Sadiq. I know Glenn provided an update on his status. What's the latest there?
Basically, yeah, he's going to be out for at least a few weeks there. They anticipate him being ready for week 1, but you have to wonder, like, with him missing most of the spring, and then he's going to miss most of training camp, how ready will he be for week 1 against the Titans too? Because he's playing catch up. Like they're installing a new offense there, and he's working with a new quarterback, and then you just have to wonder, like, how much can he really be involved? Going into week 1 against Tennessee, simply because he's missed so much time, and it's going to be catch up when he does come back, whether it be after the preseason is over or right before week 1 against the Titans.
Antwan Staley covers the Jets for the Daily News with us here. Can you explain to me or get the answer where Glenn said why, if he had the procedure, right, he had the surgery around minicamp, if this was something that he dealt with in college, why didn't they just get it done right away after he was drafted? And then how exactly did he re-injure it? Was there a new procedure? Like, what exactly happened where we're in a spot where he's back, he's out there, I saw him in person on Saturday, looked pretty good, and now he's shut down for a couple more weeks?
Sadiq explained this a little bit when we spoke to him last week. Basically, he knew he would have to have the procedure done at some point when he was at Oregon. And then, after the draft, May came and, he talked to some doctors and eventually found out, like, yeah, you're just going to have to get it done. That might as well take care of it now. That way he's ready for training camp. And they thought it would be no slip ups. They thought he would be good and cleared to go for training camp. And then all of a sudden, it's a bit of a setback. And now they don't want to rush him out too quickly. So now they think that with a few weeks of rest that he'll be, ready to go for week 1. And, it's no issue there. The tricky part is, like, we asked Glenn about this too. If you do one hernia, like typically the common practice is to do the other side, but they feel like he doesn't have to have the other side done right now. So it's kind of a bit of a pickle, but they think he'll be fine. But also, Glenn said, he was going to be ready to go for training camp, and, he would be fine doing the maintenance program. And here we are, unknown when Sadiq will hit the field once again.
How about the other rookie who Jet fans are certainly excited about, D'Angelo Pons, whose player comp is Aaron Glenn. So when does Aaron Glenn think his mini-me will be out there on the field?
He said he's close, so maybe sometime next week for the joint practices against Tampa. Tuesday and Wednesday, they might be an option for him to come back to. He might not play in the first preseason game, but they think he'll be fine, ready to go for week 1.
And T'Vondre Sweat, Antoine, when it came out that he's dealing with a hamstring injury and he's 365 pounds, I don't like hearing that. Yeah, at least, right? I mean, who knows what the actual number is? Any updates on him? I mean, he's a big part of their defense, you'd imagine, up front, stopping the run.
Yeah, there's no update on him. And, honest with you, like, he looks a lot bigger than that. He looks closer to about 400 pounds, honestly. God. And then a guy that, that's not practicing, and he's already big as it is, he's only going to continue to probably gain more weight too, especially with him not actively being out there. So you have to wonder what kind of shape he's going to be in, especially for somebody that's had, issues with his weight and being in shape there in Tennessee and in the past too, even when he was at Texas. So, yeah, I think the good thing about it is they did draft the guy Daryl Jackson Jr. In the 4th round, who I think is doing a really good job so far in training camp too. So that might be, it kind of might be in the blessing in disguise a little bit. I know it was anticipated Sweat would do big things, especially proving a run defense that was one of the worst in the league last year. But I think Daryl Jackson, a younger guy who is also equally as big, not as big as Sweat, but a bigger force at 6'5", 315, 320, could also be a run stuffer for the defensive unit this year too as well.
How about Geno Smith in the offense, Antwan? What has stood out, not just today at practice, but getting a chance to watch these 6 practices so far? What has stood out to you about Geno Smith and his second stint now with the Jets?
I mean, he's had some up and down practices, but the one thing that stood out for Geno is everybody knows, like, he's going to be super aggressive. Like, he's not going to be one of those cases where Justin Fields last year where, you throw an 8-yard, like, kind of check downs or just outs to the running backs. You're throwing actual passes down the field. And I think that's getting people excited, too, as well. And also, with Frank Wright and what he's bringing to the offense, too, it looks like a lot more modernized, at least to me, from the last time he was in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers in 23 when he, ended up getting fired. But I don't know how much that year at Stanford last year helped them, but I definitely think it's a much more the modern concepts is what you want to see without kind of giving a lot of things away. But Geno's been Geno. Like, he's gonna be a bit of a gambler. He's gonna throw the ball up there, allow Garrett and AD Mitchell and some of those guys to get the ball down the field and make some explosive plays. But also what comes with that is the interception. You just can hope that he can turn those around because he's led the league in interceptions the last 2 years with 31.
In terms of who he's throwing to, I keep seeing tweets or some videos that the Jets themselves have posted of A.D. Mitchell making some plays. Should Jet fans buy into A.D. Mitchell being the number 2 receiver on this team?
I think so. I just said because, like, he has a really good skill set. I mean, I know he has some issues with some drops, whether you talk about in college or even with the Colts too, and kind of got buried in the depth chart there. But, he has a lot to bring to the table. Like, he's big, he's fast, he can stretch the defense there. And he can also, take some pressure off of Garrett Wilson too as well, because, it's going to be a lot of attention paid to Garrett. I think we kind of saw that in the games that he did play last year where you didn't have a, complementary receiving core. Now I feel like you have some weapons there that can threaten the defense there, and A.D. Mitchell just with his speed alone and what he brings to the table. Omar Cooper Jr., who you drafted at 30, also has a really good skill set there. It could be a guy that can move the chains on third down situations. Mason Taylor, to a guy that they really like. He's really gotten bigger, stronger in the offseason. So they got some weapons there that they can take advantage of, depending on the formations of defenses there. I think it's in a much better place than what we saw last year where you had, Josh Reynolds and Alan Lazar and that crew.
Let's talk about the other side of the ball. We know Aaron Glenn's taking over the play calling. He said play calling is a superpower. Have you seen these superpowers in person watching these practices, Antwan?
Not yet. No, I guess he's really known to game snaps to let that superpower comes out. But we've asked the players about that. Do you notice any differences between Aaron Glenn now, the play caller, and just him being the CEO and coach? And they basically said like he's the same guy, but maybe just a little bit more intense there too, as well as a play caller. And that's what you want to see. I mean, he's on the hot seat. I mean, as you know, so
is he? I was unaware.
Yeah, he's on the hot seat. So yeah, I think in his instance, like I might as well call plays. This is what got me the job in the first place. So I might as well go down swinging and doing what got me this position with the Jets too. And so the players are behind them. They're fully confident that last year won't happen again. They feel like they shored up some holes on the defensive front, also in the secondary. Get Minkah Fitzpatrick there. I think AZ Thomas is really kind of standing out too at camp. They just feel like they could at least be, a much better unit. I think they can be an average defense at least. Like, I'm not saying they're going to be a great defense this year, but if they can get the average and be respectable and, cause some chaos with some turnovers, then I think fans will be excited about that.
Antwan Staley covers the Jets for the Daily News. He's with us here on the Michael K. Show. Jake Asman in for Michael, taking you till 3. How about David Bailey, Antwan? There was so much debate in the pre-draft process what the Jets should do with that number 2 pick. It seems like David Bailey's gotten off to a really nice start. What have been your impressions watching him up close?
Well, he's super fast, especially for somebody coming off the edge. And, he's given, headaches to Ahmad Membu, Olo Fashanu, their whole entire offensive line. And we've had several guys on the line, and, they basically said he's a pain and you know what. So, yeah, I think that's a good way to just kind of describe him and what he's done. He's really, caused chaos and, forced some bad passes from Geno Smith and, possible turnover situations. So I think he has a chance to be a defensive rookie of the year candidate, somebody that can finish up to like 8 or 9 sacks. And I think people would take that in his rookie year, to be honest with you. You just have to wonder what you're going to get on the other side for Will McDonald, somebody that had a really bit of a roller coaster last year outside of 2 games. I mean, he had 8 sacks, but 6 of those came against the Browns, and then the other 2 came against the Steelers. So you need more production from him in both the run game, run stopping game, and also as a pass rusher.
In terms of the other players on the defense, we know a big emphasis for the Jets. Hey, they wanted some leadership, so they bring in Demario Davis, and Minka Fitzpatrick's acquired in a trade, and so they add a couple veterans to the D-line. Do you get a sense that there is that leadership now in place, and was that being around the team as big of an issue as it apparently felt like it was for Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn?
Yeah, I mean, they were the 3rd youngest team in the league last year. I think you kind of saw that, especially as injuries start to hit, and then you ask yourself, like, especially in Buffalo last year, I was like, they were just picking guys off the street. Like, honestly, like, you didn't know some of those guys who they were not even going to be on the team. You knew they weren't going to be on the team long term. But now to have a guy like Demario Davis who can just, brings energy just any room that he goes into, and, on and off the field, and just a leader, like, tells people, knows where people are supposed to be set at, everything like that. Minka Fitzpatrick, somebody that's had a lot of success in the league, especially with turnovers. Yeah, that's invaluable. And especially when you're going up the peaks and valleys of a season, especially after last year, you need veteran leadership like that. Bringing in Geno, I think that's also going to be, a provided bonus too, as well, on the leadership front on the offensive side.
We've talked about a couple of the rookies, but we haven't talked about Cade Klubnik, who seems like he's got a real chance to be the backup to Geno Smith to start the year, Antwan. How did Klubnik look today? How has he looked throughout training camp, watching him up close?
Well, he did not look good today. In 11-11, like, he ended up throwing an interception there. Those has a few incomplete passes. His camp has been really up and down, which is what you expect from a rookie, especially with somebody that's taken in the 4th round. I mean, obviously, Cade Klubnik has some potential there. 5-star athlete coming out of Clemson, really took a 24 season, down 25. The question the Jets have to ask themselves: do you feel comfortable going in there with a rookie quarterback? Should something happen to Geno Smith? I don't think they should. Like, I think you have to pick up some kind of veteran, whether it be the end of training camp or right before the season starts. And they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to look around, seeing, because a lot of teams have 4 quarterbacks right now. I know the Eagles are one of them. You got, Tanner McKee, Andy Dalton there at the backing up Jalen Hurts. That might be an option there, including Andy Dalton, his relationship with Frank Wright and knowing the offense. Yeah, I mean, you have to pick up a veteran, because you can't. We saw what happened last year. Even though I know Brady Cook was an undrafted free agent, you do not want that to happen once again, especially in a critical year for Glenn and Muji.
The Jake Asman Show is brought to you by PrizePicks. Check out PrizePicks right now. If you're a sports fan, they have something for everyone, especially if you're one of my listeners and you're gearing up for the upcoming Jets season. For player picks on PrizePicks, you just pick a player you like and you go more or less on a few of their stats. Check out some of the numbers they have for some of your favorite Jet players: Geno Smith, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, and many more. PrizePicks should be your go-to, and check out their new offer right now. Play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you need to do is sign up and use that code HMA. That's PrizePicks code HMA. Download the app now or click the link in the description to download the PrizePicks app today.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime!
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Are you excited to watch Brady Cook in the preseason, Antwan?
I'm excited for football. I'll just put it that way. I'm excited football's back.
Likewise. Good to catch you. Good to catch up. Good to get you on. But why the heck are you wearing a Florida Marlins hat on a New York radio show? Come on. What are you, Dontrell Willis?
You know where I used to live?
You're a Red Sox fan, though. I figured you'd want to really rub it in my face when you came on today.
I mean, it's the hat I had on for practice. So, I have like a million hats.
Well, I appreciate you dressing up for us then.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Jake.
Antwan Staley from the New York Daily News, our guest, does a great job reading his work, and he is, I think, spot on with the backup quarterback situation, folks. I like Cade Klubnik. Why not give him a chance? But I think at some point, if you're the Jets, if you're hiring Glenn trying to save your job, wouldn't you want Andy Dalton as the backup? Cost you a 7th-round pick to get him from the Eagles? And Klubnik can eventually be QB2. And if the Jets fall out of it, you'd play him down the stretch over Geno or Dalton. But look, Geno's been very durable in his career. There's no doubt about it. Even last year, the Raiders were a mess. He still played in 15 of 17 games with an awful O-line where Geno got hit on 40% of his dropbacks. But, that's a big but. But if you're the Jets, and you're Aaron Glenn, and God forbid something happens to Geno Smith early on in the season, is Cade Klubnik as a 4th-round rookie going to come in and save your job? Maybe he's Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott, or maybe he's James Morgan, or Bryce Petty, or Christian Hackenberg, or any of the other stiffs the Jets have drafted in their history. I'd be a little worried about that. Now, Klubnik's had some good practices, but today he wasn't very good. So that's what happens when you're a rookie. We'll see how he looks in the preseason. Jets' first preseason game is next Friday night at MetLife against Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby. Oh, yeah. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap up our show. Jake Asman in for Michael K.
No Michael K.
We're taking you till 3 right here on ESPN New York.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.